the biggest things outside of the fights was the UFC Hall of Fame ceremony. George St. Pierre was inducted last weekend as the fighter in the modern wing, the most successful fighter that's ever been put into the Hall of Fame. But John Jones was also inducted for his fight, a great fight with Alexander Gustafsson, possibly the greatest light heavyweight title fight of all time. But unfortunately, in true John Jones fashion, it does not end the right way. Now, Dana said on multiple times, we can't get him into Vegas, not even for 12 hours, without. But what has been proven time and time again is that the trouble seems to follow Jones, because he's gotten in trouble in Albuquerque, he's gotten in trouble in New York, he's gotten in trouble, but this time seems very serious. And Mark Raimondi just tweeted very recently that more details are coming out. And John Jones allegedly pulled a woman's hair and headbutted a police car, causing damage to the vehicle, according to the arrest report coming from the Las Vegas Metro PD. There's more going to be talked about as the day goes on ESPN, because the details are flooding in. I know what I felt initially, Ryan, but as a guy that's watched John Jones do so many special things inside the octagon, Ryan, as a guy that has a real personal relationship with Jones in terms of professional, I said some things back in 2017 before we fought the second time. I spoke to mistakes and how when you make mistakes, they change you. Jones obviously doesn't learn from the mistakes. But I also take a bit of responsibility, because I think in a lot of situations, Ryan, you learn when you have to pull yourself up by the bootstraps. And I said on the Countdown show before the fight, the way John Jones makes changes is by losing to me. I didn't beat him. Chael Sonnen didn't beat him.
Right.
So many people didn't beat him. We never forced him to look in the mirror and evaluate his behaviors outside, because all the bad behavior still led to success.
Right.
And so why change it? Why change it? It's unfortunate. And I remember when I saw Jones and his family on the red carpet for the Hall of Fame, I'm so removed from that rivalry that I actually felt happy for him.
Right.
Because his little girls aren't babies no more.
Yeah.
They're growing up to be beautiful young women. And it looked like he had his family with him. He was going to be celebrated. And then he goes out and does something like that to remind me why I felt so strong about disliking him. Because you start hearing these things, and it's awful. It's actually really awful. And as the details come to light, it's actually going to be much more terrifying to think of the emotions that's tied to this whole thing.
Well, you know, DC.
Last thing I did have to ask you as well about John Jones. Obviously, that the details have come out about that and the arrest. I'm sure you probably have more information than we do. So I'm just kind of curious your thoughts about this latest incident with John Jones, and is there any need for UFC involvement? I think a lot of people are saying, yes, they're independent contractors, whatever, but maybe
saying yes, what?
Yes, of course, they're not your employees. They're independent contractors, but the UFC may need to do something here with John Jones.
Yeah, well, we'll do what we always do. You know, we're very consistent in that we watch and see how this thing plays out legally and what happens, and then we'll make a decision from there.
Do you have any personal feelings on this latest incident?
I mean, you know, this is what John does when he comes to Vegas, man. John comes to Vegas, and this is a rough place for him, man. You know, there's never, he was here less than 12 hours, I think, and you know, he was in jail. So, and every time we bring him here too, we try to keep him here for as short a time as possible. Get him in and get him out. You know, this time he was with his family, so we figured wrong.
Would he face any discipline? I mean, is there anything you can do? Would you ever consider like releasing a guy because he's, you know, such a, I guess, PR headache, so to speak?
I got 650 guys that are, you know, there's shit that goes on here every day. It's the fight business, man. Every day we got stuff going on, stuff that you don't know about, that we deal with on a daily basis. You know, you guys just hear about the shit that ends up in the media. We'll see how this thing plays out legally with him, and we'll go from there.
Even had your old friend Oscar jumping in saying how much he loved the fight.
Yeah. Did he say he loved the fight?
I think he said, what a great fight, but you got underpaid for it.
Yeah.
He gave Alex some credit. Maybe not you, though.
We doing this now? Is that what we're going to do? We're going to get into this?
No.
So here we go. Go ahead and hand out the thing to them. So normally, you guys know how this works. When people, people like to push the buttons and talk about fighter pay, and you don't ever see us coming out and talking about it or doing whatever, because I don't give a shit. When I got 20-something-year-old Jake Paul, a fucking YouTuber, talking about fighter pay, or these other guys on the internet, we know what the hell we're doing over here. And at the end of the day, my philosophy is always this: it's nobody's fucking business what these fighters are making. None of these guys are under some type of gag order in their contract. Any fighter on the roster can come out and tell you guys what they make. I've said this a million times. They can come out and tell you what they make. Ask them what they make. What'd you make tonight? They can tell you. They don't tell you. You know why they don't tell you? Because they don't want you to know. I wouldn't want you to know either. But at the end of the day, I've said this a million times, we run a real business, unlike boxing. Boxing doesn't run a real business. What these guys do is every event is a going out of business sale. They're trying to get as much money as they can in the door. The two guys at the top of the card make all the money. And how many fights a year are they doing? 1, 3, 5? I'm doing 52 to 53 events a year. So one of the other things we do and why we run real business is we reinvest in the sport. Not just the business of the UFC, but we reinvest in the sport, and we built a global business over the last 20 years. We have infrastructure. We have 450 employees that we hire. A couple of years ago it was 350. We're at 450 now. UFC headquarters, Performance Institute. I found a space in Mexico City. Now we have a space that we're looking at and doing a deal for. We're going to build a PI there. We're doing Puerto Rico, Africa, and obviously we have one in China. I have offices in Brazil, London, Shanghai, and Singapore. We do all of our own production, which most sports do not. We built the Apex, which has enabled us to put on fights through the pandemic, keep everybody working. We pay for USADA drug testing, which is a massive number every year, to keep the sport safe and fair. And when you think about it, guys like Arum and De La Hoya and people like this never had the vision to do anything like this, and it's never been done. And everybody thinks they know what they're talking about, and everybody has an opinion, and I say it all the time. You know what you guys know about this sport? About this, I shouldn't say the sport. You know what you guys know about this business? What I fucking tell you. That's what you know. That's all you know. What we've done here has never been done in the history of combat sports. And we continue to grow this thing and build the sport bigger for everybody. There's no barrier to entry. Anybody can get into this, okay? Anybody can start an MMA promotion and get going. Jump in and figure it out like I did. Figure it out, right? Now let's get into De La Hoya. And the only reason that I'm telling you this is because he is a lying, two-faced, hypocritical sack of shit. And I hate him so much that I love to prove that he's a lying, hypocritical, two-faced piece of shit.
Boom, jab. Oh my God, his brain. I could see his brain freak out. F***ing Volko, the great one. Boom. Nah, get the f*** out of here.
No!
F*** out of here. F*** out of here.
No!
Fight Volko, fight, please. Fight Volko, chin down. Come on, Volk! Come on! Yes! The f*** out of here. Nah! What? T-City. He's good, he's looking. T-City. On my T-City! On my T-City! Drop everything! Fighter!
Go!
Let's go!
Yes!
Let's go!
One!
It's done! It's over!
Did you see that?
We don't play. Don't with us, bro. Don't do it. Find that. Oh, you about to chop bread. He's not. I told you on the breakdown. He's not gonna get tired.